Hi, I'm Mark at the Caravan place, and today I'm going to show you around the Sterling Eccles 90 Ruby. On the near side we've got a little wet locker, so this is just literally for muddy boots, wet items, etc. It's got a little 230 volt socket in there, so that'll give you power out into the awning. We've got an external external barbecue point, so that will run straight off the main gas bottle on the front. So you don't need any other adapters or anything like that. It's just literally that will run through there. There is a little adapter that just goes into the bottom of there, and then that will connect onto your gas pipe, but that will supply then straight off this main bottle. Now it's set up for propane gas, so the red gas bottles, and we've set it up on a hand wheel, so you don't need any special spanner. It's literally tighten this up by hand and then just turn the gas on the top of the bottle. As I say, it's just literally get it tight enough by hand. You don't need any special spanners. Again, normally this bottle would be secured in and fastened in, but obviously we're just showing you through everything how it works. We're set up on 13-pin electrics, so just make sure your vehicle has got 13-pin electrics. It's got the Alco stabilised hitch head, and then on the off side we've got our water connection, so our water pump plugs in as so. You'll have to excuse this because it's not been cleaned or washed or anything as yet. It's just literally come straight out of the service bay, so it does need a good clean. So that just plugs in and drops into your Acrol. Now there's a cover that's normally on the water heater housing, and that's literally a flue for the hot water when you're using it on gas, so that cover has to be removed, otherwise the water heating won't work on gas. Next along we've got the 230 volt and 12 volt, so that just plugs in as so, and then we've got the leisure battery. It's got two wastewater outlets, so shower wastewater and both of the sink wastewaters come out of those. And then we've got our cassette toilet, so our top one is our flush water, so we fill that up with pink chemical and a little bottle or container of water, and then the actual cassette is just at the bottom. So little orange handle lifts up, this pulls out and empties as normal. And then through the winter, if you want to drain off the wastewater, we've got the two bungs here, so we just undo the little bungs on those, and that will drain our wastewater down. Hopefully you can see the awning light, and then as we come inside of the Caravan, just above the door we've got our little power control panel. Now on our control panel we've got our main power button, and then this will tell us whether we're on the Caravan battery or on the car battery, and also if we've got mains power plugged in, you should be able to see the little light on there just to let us know that we've got mains power plugged in. So again, if you go onto site and you don't feel like you've got any mains power left in or plugged in, no power's coming through, just make sure the little light's on there. View level, so that will tell us what we've got coming from the Caravan battery or the charger unit. And again, if we're on the car, it would light up on the car side and tell us what power we've got coming from the car. Battery select, so if you were connected to the car still, you can switch between the leisure battery and vehicle battery. And then the next one is water pump. Now before we put the water pump on, there's a couple of things that we'll need to do. One thing is making sure all of our taps are closed and the taps are over the sink. And then just underneath of this seat here, we've got a drain off valve for the water system. So the little yellow tab that we can see just there, to drain the water system we put it up, and then to fill the system it's back down. So if we're in the winter, or if we wanted to drain the system because we won't use the water for a while, we pop that into the upright position, open all of the taps up, and that will drain the water system down. But obviously when we come back in, we need to put that back into that flat position and then close all of our taps back down again, and that will then be ready for us to put the water pump on and get the water through the system. Now while I'm just underneath of this seat, I'll also show you a few other bits and pieces. So we've got all of our little fuses, we've got our trip switches, so this is our mains trip switches just here. We've then got a main system shutdown, so if you've got no 12 volt coming through, just make sure that one's plugged on or pushed in. Our charger button, so that will put our charger on, so when we're plugged into 230 volt it'll charge the battery and run the 12 volt system for us. And then we've got space heater and we've got water heater. Now on the space heater we can 99% of the time leave that in onto the on position. So we've also got the water heater. Now this will put your water heater on electric, and before we put that on we need to make sure that we've got the water through the system. If we put this on now and we haven't got the water through the system, there is a good chance that it's going to damage the element in our water heater underneath there, and it's going to cause us problems. So before we put that water heater on, we need to get the water through the system. So we can now put our water pump on and we can then start getting it through the taps. Now if you've drained the system down, it's going to take a good 5 or 10 minutes of coughing and spluttering until we get a nice steady flow of water as we have now. Once we've got a nice steady flow of water, we can then draw the water through on the bathroom tap and on the shower tap and just get all of that air out of the system. Once we've got a nice steady flow of all of our water, we can then go ahead and put our water heater on electric, but not until we've got all that water through. So just make sure that that is in the off position before you've got the water through. Otherwise, as I say, you are just going to cause damage. We've then got our hob. So again, to get the gas through the system, we've just connected a new gas bottle. Easiest way to get all the gas through is on our hob. And again, we can physically see that we've got the gas here. And again, if there's any air, it's going to get out of the system easier and quicker on the hob. So we can physically see that the gas is through now, there's no air, and everything is working as it should do. So we can then go ahead and light our grill. And then same with our oven. Now one thing just to note on the oven there, our shelves are actually round the wrong way. So the little pips at the back, or the little pips, need to be at the back. And that is the way that the oven shelf should be fitted, so that is the correct way. So if your oven shelves are fitted the opposite way as to what they were just, that's the wrong way. You need to make sure that that is how they're fitted. And then we can light up the oven. And again, we now know that all of our gas system is free of air. And we've actually got the gas coming through, and we have got gas in our bottle still. Again, if you start to run out of gas, the easiest way to tell is on your hobs. If they start to go down on the flame, you know that that gas bottle's getting low. We've also got an electric ring just there at the back, so I'll just double check that. And then again, another thing just to make sure that before you put that glass lid down, all of these hob rings need to be cold. Otherwise, if you put that glass lid down and these hobs are still hot, there is a chance that you're going to damage and break the glass on the back there. And again, that ring at the back will get very hot, so just make sure that once it's on or been on for a while, you don't put your hand on like that. I'm just literally checking it just to make sure that it's all working as it should do. We've then got the fridge. So again, to turn the fridge on and off, it's literally our middle button just there. Our left button, they'll then select what we're going to run it off. So you'll see at the moment we've got a fault, so the blue light is flashing and a little spanner, and that's because we're trying to run it on battery, and because we've got no car connected and no car started, it won't work. So we can come across, so we've got our gas, and then again, as you select gas, you should hear it start ticking, and then you should hear the burner light up, and that will then run on the gas. On the right hand side, you can literally turn the fridge to be colder, or not quite as cold. So as you go higher, it's colder, and lower down, it's not quite as cold. And that will work on the gas and electric. And if we want to select electric, again, just on our left hand side, press it again, I'll get a little plug symbol, and that will then run our fridge on electric. If you want to turn all of that off and not use any of it, again, it's just holding the main on and off button. We've then got our heating system. So as I said, when we were underneath of this front seat, we've got our little orange space heater. So if we want to use our fire on electric, this has to be in the on position first. And then over on the wall, we have got the Truma Ultra Heat, and this has got 2,500 and 1,000, and it says at the bottom here 230 volts. So we can then select either the 2,500 or 1,000, and that's our power setting, so that's how quickly the fire is going to heat up basically. And then in the middle is our thermostat, so we can go from 1 all the way up to 9 depending on how warm that we want the fire to be. And again, you'll notice that in the middle there we've got a little green light, so if you've not got that little green light on, that little switch that's under the seat is probably in the off position, so just make sure that that little green light is on and that you've got the switch under the seat on. So that will then literally put the heat out of the fire, and that will just then start to heat up straight out the front of the fire. You have got the option to run the fire on the gas, and then you've also got the blown air heating, and the blown air heating will work with gas or electric. So once we've set our thermostat on that control dial on the black one, we can then put our blown air heating onto A. Now that will work with the thermostat either on the gas side of the fire or with the electric side of the fire, and that will just keep putting the warm air around the Caravan as the fire is putting the heat out. So if I turn that back off, I turn our electric off, I'll now light the fire up on the gas. So it's literally turn the control dial, you'll hear it start ticking. Hold it in, the ticking will stop, give it a couple of seconds, and then as I release it, you should hear the fire roar up. And that then will put your fire on, just putting the heat from the gas straight out the front of the fire. And again, exactly the same, you can then put the blown air heating on, pop it onto A, and that will then work with this thermostat here, so we can control how hot that we want the fire to get the room. If I turn the heating off, so we've got gas and electric heating now off, come back to the middle, we've also got a little symbol just over on this left hand side which will just put our blown air heating on without any fire heating at all. So on a warm day we could just have some blown air just to try and cool the van down a little bit, and it's just on that left hand side if that's how you want to use it without any heating. Now, we'd already mentioned earlier about our electric water heater. We have got the option to run our water heater on gas, and as I'd said when we're outside with that white cover, we need to make sure that's removed for the gas water heater to work. And if we want to put our gas water heater on, it's just literally that top Ultra store, And on the gas water heater you can select from 30 degrees in the middle all the way up to 70 degrees, so you can set the temperature to what you want it. And again, the little green light in the middle there will tell you that that is working and doing what it should be doing, and that will then heat the water up on the gas system for you. Again, if you want to turn that one off, it's just back into the middle. We've then got our microwave. So again, there's all different settings on the microwave. We've got our start by literally just holding the start button in for a second, and that will put the microwave on for 30 seconds, or clear that. We can put it on for a minute, just hold that one back in again, and that will put our microwave on. Stop and cancel. And then we have got other functions just in the middle there. Now, one thing just to note is that when we come to travel, we want to remove this microwave plate, otherwise that can come out and cause damage. So we'll just pop that out, and then that's nice and safe for when you pick the Caravan up and you come to tow it away. We've then got our different lights throughout the Caravan now. A lot of the lights have got their own little individual switches on. So our little spotlights, our front lights. So you can then go along and put which lights that you want on. You've then got some overhead lights, and then the little kitchen light again, it's got its own little switch on, and then the other right hand switch there will do the bedroom overhead lights as well. Going then to the bedroom, we've got our little spotlights again, and put those on and off individually. And then for the bathroom, as we come into the bathroom, you'll see we've got the light switch just here, and that will put all of our bathroom lights on and off. And then we've got the cassette toilet. So to put the flush water through on the cassette toilet, it's literally a blue button at the top. And then to let everything through, just to open that up, we literally just slide the little grey lever towards the back of the Caravan and then back towards the front, and that will close it off. Hopefully we've got you all up to speed on how everything works on the Sterling Eccles Ruby. If there is anything that you're not too sure about, just let us know, but hopefully that's got you all up and running. Thanks, I'm Mark at the Caravan Place.